Welcome to Curse of Tamreon on Casters and Castles. This is NinjaManMat. Joining me are Binary, NCW Tim, Platypus, and Raze. Thank you all for bearing with me. Please tell me I can be heard. Is everyone able to pick me up? I don't see +1s in chat, so I feel pretty good about how things are going. All right, loving it. Welcome to our Curse of Tamreon. This is a community adventure for all of the various supporters that we have had, both Twitch supporters and coffee supporters throughout our tenure here at Casters and Castles. And this is just my way of saying thank you, my love letter to the community for all the wonderful support that we've gotten throughout the years, and allowing a few of our community members who have been wanting to play some really fun D&D, they have a chance to go through and save an entire continent that was ripped asunder when the greater being from the outer dark, known as the One Flesh, descended upon Anakra in order to succumb upon the very blood of the Sovereign of Earth that was spilled. The Sovereign of Water grew to an immeasurable size, tore apart a section of Giru and Asadam, smout the beast from the sky, burying it beneath the unending ocean and using their entire body as a cage of sorts to keep the abomination trapped there, hopefully for all eternity. However, we have been learning that slowly but surely, over the last 300 plus years, the One Flesh has had pieces of it, vestiges, legions have been breaking away from the prison every 11 years. They go out into the Tamreon and they wreak untold havoc. Within the last year, specifically, a dark fog has spread across the land. Anywhere that does not have a settlement surrounded by walls and kept by its citizens is completely encased in a distracting and maddening light purple dark fog. It is so we join a group of heroes far across the lands that we had come to know in the jungles of Dorswa. We are now in the northern regions of the continent of Tamreon, known as Strigair. We are in the kingdom of Coldhardt specifically, and in its capital, Coldhardt, the Ironwood city. Nearby the city, we have the Forest of Tangwil. It is a rather large forest that is kept by numerous resolved spirits, the resolved spirits being the entities that have allied themselves with the mortals back in the War of Displacement. The mortals were locked in a fitful combat with the various supernatural creatures, all of them having been shunted away from the lives they knew and being forced into this new and very altered land. Eventually, some of the spirits, elementals, and undead grew tired of the fighting, allied themselves with the mortal creatures, and sundered their allies, now become enemies. The embittered spirits, as they became known, were thrust into the far reaches of Tamreon, removed from their lands and everything that they knew, and were forced into a new, dour life. Since then, there's been many warring clans, many kingdoms that have had to adapt and expand or hold on to their traditional values, and we join one such group now as we make our way into the kingdom of Coldhardt. We find ourselves on a damp, cold night, with overcast clouds blocking the light of the moon, the auroras, and the stars. It has yet to rain, but that unique, earthy smell fills the air. High above the city, known as the Ironwood City of Coldhardt, we see two men arguing within the Tower of Sentinels. A rugged half-elf, normally a bright and cheery demeanor, is displayed across their face, but they currently appear bitter and combative as they stand at attention before a noble but gruff-looking human. Both appear to have the demeanor of hardened soldiers, and as he finishes giving his report, the half-elf's voice calms and grows somewhat tense. My lord, legions and dregs continue their nightly assaults upon the Coldarian settlements throughout the kingdom, Captain Stein, and they grow ever bolder with each passing day. We should reconsider our stance on employing adventurers.
I signed the declaration allowing mercenaries to enlist in the defense of our kingdom's outlying settlements. Eberwolf, what more do you want?
Aside from aiding and defending our borders, Captain, they would be paramount for launching a counterattack against these monsters that stalk our lands. They slaughter our soldiers, steal our children and families, and transform them, hello cat, into foul abominations. We cannot allow them to
Continue, which is why I've approved a mandate to outfit all wardens with equipment from our Ironwood reserves. Taking the fight to the enemy is your assignment, Eberwolf, and the defense of the city is mine. Now, I have other matters to attend to. You are dismissed.
And after a tense moment, Eberwolf bows curtly and turns to take his leave, mouthing, prick, as he does. When he's gone, Stein sighs while looking over the documents scattered across his desk, and we see a report that details the damage done to the main gate's watchtowers, caused by an explosion earlier this evening. A raven that had been looking in on the men's fight takes flight and soars over the city. A sea of lamplight and torches fill the buildings and streets of Coldhardt. And as the corvid descends from the sky, we see numerous peoples of all shapes and sizes milling about the walkways and common areas, seeing to their business even at this late in the evening. The raven eventually comes to rest, and we find ourselves at the Ironheart Correctional Facility. Within, 2 guards, Duli Kolgrog, a broad dwarf with an immaculately groomed beard, and Irian Latafanar, a lithe elf with a cunning eye and many scars across her body, talk amongst themselves as several people look on from behind bars. Well, some good news. Sounds like we've apprehended the mad artificer that blew up the watchtower. They're escorting him here now. In the meantime, who do we have here? Well, the tiefling calls himself a chief. Seems to be a caster of some kind. He arrived today by ship. No idea where he's from, but wherever it is, they must be A-okay with worshipping infernals, as we picked him up after openly admitting to being a cultist of the Machine Prince. He's searching for some ancient designer ruins that he believes are somewhere within Tamreon. And with that, Platt, I'd like to give you a chance to introduce yourself.
So, Chief is a tall tiefling, red skin. The left half of his face is covered by a thin plate of bronze, obscuring everything except his piercing green eyes. His clothing is simple and practical, except for the design of a clock emblazoned on his chest.
Oh my gosh! No! And we are back, and I've only just realized, now that I have brought ourselves back into this place, I got Roll20 open up for all you, but I don't have it for me, so let me go ahead and just sign into Roll20 while we're here. Just so everyone knows, I have banished the being that had destroyed my computer. As we were getting to Achieve's introduction, we were only barely able to hear about our wayward tiefling before my animal, Princess Ralwyn Elevangren, the little white gray cat that you've all seen before, literally came over and just shut off my computer. Just pressed that button down, slammed the no you, and yeah, that was it. So we have recovered. We are making our way back into everywhere that we should be. And at this point, I would just like to kind of do a quick recover from where we were. We set the stage by introducing everyone to the city of Coldhardt, which is known as the Ironwood City, the capital of the Kingdom of Coldar, and the location with which our adventurers are going to be moving out from. Let's go ahead and move back to where we were, just to quickly catch everyone up. We had just arrived at the Ironheart Correctional Facility. We had 2 guards, Duli Kolgrog, a broad dwarf with an immaculate beard, and Irian Latanathar, who is a cunning elf with many scars across their body. They were introducing our various players today, and we had just gotten to talking about a tiefling known as Achieve, a machine prince worshipping cultist from another land. Platt, if you wouldn't mind just taking us back to where you were and just reintroducing us to your character, please.
Steve is a tall red tiefling with a bronze plate obscuring the left half of his face, which obscures everything except for his piercing green eyes. Coming from his forehead, there's two large metallic bronze horns. His clothes are fairly simple, fairly practical, except for a large clockwork symbol emblazoned on his chest. Yeah. And I suppose everything else probably was confiscated when he was arrested.
That is correct. That is what took place. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to move everyone here from our very lovely map. We are instead, once I can get this working properly, here we are. I'm going to take us to the prison with which you are making yourselves acquainted.
Shiny.
And that should give us a chance of being able to see, here we go, yes, the bulk of what's happening here. Alrighty. Next up, after becoming acquainted with our tiefling friend, Irian continues. That one's Jackal. Yeah, like the dog. He also arrived today by ship. He's an Azamar storyteller who was involved in a bar brawl and brought in for disturbing the peace. He keeps saying he wasn't involved, but the cuts and bruises tell a very different story. And besides, isn't that what they all say? And Brayden, I'd like to give you a chance to introduce us a little bit to Jack.
All right, so Jackal is looks very young in appearance, and has a white hair, quite short and spiked up at the front. And he's wearing a very simple gray cloak, as well as gray pants, and he is pacing around currently, panicked, and that is it. That is it for Jackal.
Excellent. And unfortunately, my handouts aren't working properly, so I will make sure that we play catch up on being able to share the wonderful art that many of our players had done for their characters. At this point, Irian continues moving down the line. And this one duly cuts her off. Hold on. Isn't that Salcom and Galisa's kid? Referring to Klax. Yeah, nowadays he goes by Klax. Not sure where his familiar has flown off to, but we'll find it eventually. Speaking of which, I know you're familiar with his skill set, but just for the record, this highborn gnome learned magic from his father and safecracking from his mother, and tonight he got busted for snooping around where he wasn't supposed to be, having broken into a private storeroom belonging to one of his family's clients. And Raze, if you'd like to go ahead and give us a little more insight as to Klax Personage.
So Klax is a gnome with light blue hair that you can tell has been dyed, but it's been so long since he dyed it that the root is showing a little blonde. He's just sitting against the wall of the cell with his hair covering his face, and looks like he's just sitting there.
Excellent. And over the course of this description/interaction that the guards of the correctional facility are musing about, across the way, in another portion of the jail, loud shouting can be heard coming from another room. All at once, all of the metal within this chamber begins to creak and groan in protest. The very bars keeping you within your cells seeming to twist ever so slightly. And the guards, they don't look undisturbed by this. Oh, good, Dooley says. Surrounded. It looks like Farrak's finally here. Let's get this over with. Irian smiles, and they both leave the room. And as the guards ascend the staircase, a mouse darts past them, up the stairs, and down the hall to a crack within the wall. The tiny creature exits the other side and rushes past another pair of guards, sitting at a table playing cards. As the rodent scurries on, it ascends and then descends up one stair and down another, as it enters a room with a dark-haired human sitting at a large desk. The mouse hides within a rack full of weapons as Farrak enters the room. The bulk of his armor nearly filling the entire doorway, he has to duck in order to pass through the threshold, and he is flanked by 2 sentinels that had arrested him earlier in the evening and have brought him now here to the Ironheart Correctional Facility. And at this point, let's go ahead and reveal our 4th player of this troop. Sir, please, doff your armor and all other equipment for processing.
Farrak stands looming large over the guard and looks like this almost warforged Goliath, but his body proportions are a little bit off. His lower legs are oddly long, and he just stares at the guard for a moment. And even though there's no expression on his face and his eyes are just these orange discs, you can almost feel eyes narrowing at the guard for a moment. And then plates on this figure's head start to shift around, and the glow in the eyes starts to fade to reveal a character with a humanoid with sort of bulbous features, neatly tied back black hair, and a fairly full beard. And as this is happening, the lower legs on the figure start to get shorter so that he is looking now eye level with the guard. And he just stops and stares at the guard for a moment. And then more plates on the armor start to shift around, and the armor continues to get shorter and shorter and shorter, revealing the figure of what turns out to be a fairly spindly dwarf. And he hops out, and he's wearing fairly simple, tight-fitting clothes with a tool belt and a shoulder strap and the goggles.
Sir, please remove your remaining equipment.
Fine. And he takes off the tool belt and puts them neatly on the table.
Goggles too.
These goggles are a precision piece of engineering. I will not have you buffoons messing them up.
Sir, please remove your goggles.
Fine. There. Would you like me to remove my pants now, too? And he starts fiddling with his belt.
That's not necessary. Please, just step up to the desk, please.
Farrak walks over to the desk.
Can you please, for the record, state your name?
Farrak Iron Fist the Mad.
Last time it was, Farrak the Mad Iron Fist. And please, don't say that name aloud.
You dare talk to the Mad Farrak Iron Fist that way. You best watch your tone with me, or I'll change my accent on you.
The guard appears irritated and confused.
Yeah, I can see how much that disturbs you.
Can you please just confirm where you're from?
Why, Asatum, of course, the Farrak Mountains.
The guard, who had begun writing down something already, quickly scribbles out their notes and responds, slightly flabbergasted. The, Isatum? Not Londakar?
Londakar. Nope, never been.
Okay, now listen here, Farrak.
It's pronounced Farrak, not Farrak.
That's what I said.
Farrak, not Farrak, like the Titan of the Forge. You see, Farrak doesn't like it when you say their name without the proper reverence, and you don't want to get Farrak's attention without showing the proper reverence.
Racks of armor and weapons within the room start to tremble.
Ah, see, you've gone and pissed them off.
Varrock! Haven't I warned you about speaking my name?
I know. I was just correcting this buffoon.
All of the metallic objects in the room, including those being worn and carried, vibrate and groan as the brief presence of the Elder Titan of the Forge fades away.
Great guy, that Ferric. Great Titan.
By the Sovereigns! Do you have any other associates?
Nope. And at that, Hootie, my spotted gray owl, flies into the room and lands on the desk. Hootie, I told you to wait outside until I was finished in here.
The owl turns to stare at Ferric. Ooh!
Well, since you're here, introduce yourself to the fine gentleman here.
Ooh!
The man at the desk with the armor on.
Ooh! Ooh!
He's right there. Just turn your head.
Hootie looks at the guard and then just back at Ferric. Ooh!
Remind me to make you a pair of glasses.
This is ridiculous. Look, anyone or anything else?
Ferric sort of looks around innocently, and in the background, one of the other guards is starts trying to move Ferric's suit of armor behind, off to a corner of the room, and which causes a homunculus construct to fly out, shaped like a black flying fish.
What is that?
Oh, that! Yeah, that's just a construct I made a while back. I call it the blowfish.
What? I'm sorry, so Hootie and the blowfish? It's at
That's
that
right.
moment that Dooley and Irian arrive and bring Ferric back to the jail cells for processing. I'm going to go ahead and move our way along the scene here as the... Oh, not the Sentinels. The Sentinels are staying back, and after the processing, they are going to take their leave, no longer needing to be here to escort the surly and interesting, to say the least, Mad Iron Fist. And they're going to go ahead and, as they stash your belongings in with the others, they're going to go ahead and put you in a jail cell with Klax. They open up the bars and kind of just usher you within the cell, locking it behind them. Yeah, that ought to do it. All right, you rest off whatever the heck it was that had you destroy the watchtower earlier, and we'll resolve this in the morning. Ferric.
Yeah. Hey, Klax, what are you doing in here? How are you supposed to protect my designs from inside a jail cell?
With that, Klax will lift his hair up, and you see his eyes kind of light up. And goes, well, they tried to keep me out of a storeroom because I wanted to see what was in there. I thought they had something that was relevant to keeping your design safe. Then they decided that I wasn't supposed to be there, and I was already in there, and it was big hullabaloo. I've been keeping an eye on them through Click, but that's nothing's happening so far. Although it looks like things might get exciting pretty soon.
Oh, exciting, you say?
Yes,
Well-
very exciting.
Well, this city's quite boring anyway, so, you know.
And I'd like to go ahead and just take a quick moment. Now that I've been able to get my bearings, we have quite a bit of things that have been happening from chat. Wanted to ensure we had some inspiration and some disadvantage that had gone out to the various members of the cast. Tim, if you could go ahead and add an inspiration to your character sheet.
Yep. Got one.
And Platt, you as well, an inspiration. And another for Platt as well. So that's 2 inspiration and 1. We also have a disadvantage going to Platt because you were mean to someone in Overwatch once. And another disadvantage to
Allegedly.
Platt. So you've got 2 for 2, as it were. Additionally, aside from the rewards that we've gotten from people using their sand, and again, just to remind our sand farmers, aside from granting the normal advantage and disadvantage, or even treasures, healing, and rest that you're able to do, We also have the option within our Curse of Tamreon games to draw from the Taroka decks. You can spend sand to draw from the common deck, which will grant boons to our players on their next attack roll. Or you can draw from the high deck. This is going to be the forces of darkness, the embittered spirits of Tamreon, and the aberrations that lurk within the Murky Veil. They will be making their presence known as well, which is going to be more often a bane to our party than anything else. And additionally, you can purchase Steam Loots cards there as well. Currently, we have our general D&D 5th edition cards open at this time, and speaking of Steam Loots, I have quite a few that everyone has been dropping that I will need to make sure to address. I'd like to go ahead and do that now. So let me go ahead and take a look here. Oh my. Okay. We have a Streamloots card for lore. That I'm going to put in Gnomes' Corner. However, we also had an inspiration. Now, I want to just double check here. Does it specify on here who? And I don't see that it does specify who. Can I just go back?
I think that first one was me. if I
Okay,
remember
perfect.
correct.
Yes,
I
thank
already
you.
have
Because
it.
okay, good. So you already added it?
Yeah, I already
Excellent. Then
added
I
it.
will go ahead and mark that as complete. Thank you very much. And I appreciate my the chat and my cast for keeping me up on this. We also received individual treasure from level 5 to 10. That is a very nice treasure card. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that in reserve for now, but I will ensure that the party is going to be receiving the funds from that when it's thematically appropriate. It's rather difficult to have funds wired to you while you're behind bars. Next, we had another inspiration card. That was the second played this evening. And do we happen to know who that was supposed to go for?
I think that was mine.
I see 4 here, so I'm wondering if each one of you got an
Mama-
inspiration.
Mama Samad said she
Uh,
gave it to everyone.
Yeah, she gave everybody.
Then there
one.
we go. I'm going to mark them all as complete, and if everybody can go ahead and give yourselves another inspiration, if you have not already, I thank you kindly. And by the way, I thank everyone kindly for not just harrowing me with inspiration or with disadvantage tonight, especially considering what has been occurring, as it were. So, Farruk and Klax. And I'm going to be very careful as I pronounce your name, Farruk, because Farruk, the Elder Smith, does not take kindly to your namesake. And that has been known. It's been both a blessing and a curse for you throughout your entire life, but generally an issue of your own design.
Oh yeah.
The two of you are within a cell together, and you see it's very difficult, but across the way you can make out the forms of just general townspeople that have found their way into this place, whether through too much revelry during the evenings, being a part of that brawl that brought Jackal here earlier, or just generally being ne'er-do-wells within the capital of the Kingdom of Coldhardt. They are brought here and attempted to be reconditioned and brought back into society as a functioning citizen of the kingdom. However, you also see a tiefling, which, as some of you have overheard, openly worships an infernal. However, Jackal, you rode over on the boat with them and understand that they don't appear to be they don't seem to be a terrible person.
Yeah, it's good. Good guy, definitely. definitely good lad, Achieve. Just real quick, it's the blowfish, right? Just wanted to make sure that's the name.
The blowfish.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Just wanted to double check on that one.
Yeah, no, the blowfish. That is how this goes. And just
Oh,
to
man. Ferret's
give
a
everyone
problem.
a bit of an update, within Tamreon, we have the truths. The truths that you know of are there is a dark fog that has shrouded the land for the last year. There's eldritch whispers within that fog that can drive people mad, as well as distract you and make it easy for you to be surprised. The beasts and plants within the fog are hostile to all humanoids. Sleeping within the fog can cause nightmares that, surprise, surprise, can also lead to madness. And there are aberrations and monstrosities, known as legions, that come from the fog to attack settlements at night. The legions, when they arrive, they come and they scale the walls, break through the defenses, and they mainly attempt to abscond with any citizens they come across, preferring to take them alive than kill them. However, you are aware that any hostile resistance they receive, they fight back with impunity. And they will also drag away the corpses of those that they fell during any battle they are a part of. Aside from these legions, you know that there are creatures known as dregs. They appear to be monsters that have been what you can only imagine are the transformed and tainted forms of mortal creatures that are likely taken by these very legions, brought into the fog, and the longer they spend there, they no longer become themselves, and they become the very foot soldiers of these monsters that attack the settlements. You also know that at this point, the fog only comes to about 100 feet or so from any established settlements, and beyond that, the entirety of Tamreon is covered in the murky veil, making it very difficult to travel from town to town. However, it's been very booming a business for sellswords and mercenaries who escort caravans full of supplies from settlement to settlement, especially to the outlying locations that do not have the protection that large towns and cities do. And as you sit within your cell, contemplating what brought you here and where you'll go from here, I'd like everyone to make a perception check, please.
With
Our first
disadvantage.
rolls of the game.
Perception. Did I do it? I did.
Yes. And
I
there
had
we go.
I had something on though. So apologies. I don't know why I had that.
We'll go ahead and take the first. Whenever someone rolls with advantage or disadvantage and they didn't mean to, we just take the first, and I remind you, please don't do it in the future, but hey, this happens, it's a game. Achieve, we're going to go ahead and expunge one of your disadvantages for this, and with the rest of you, pretty decent rolls overall, spread across the table. Anybody who got over a 12 can feel the very stone of the prison rattle and shake. Doom. 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 This is very different than that metallic twisting and groaning that you had felt earlier. And unlike earlier, the guards within this chamber appear to be very intent upon what's happening. Dooley and Irian set about finding what is the matter here as they spread out and try to figure out what's going on. And Klax and Ferric, you are able to feel that the sound of the vibrations of this sound is coming from the southeastern portion of the facility. Klax, you can merely tell that everything around you seems to be thrumming and breaking, as it seems the very walls around you begin to crumble. And it is at that moment that all of you hear, but do not see, a crash. As an entire section of the prison is broken open, and from within, an enormous creature that you are not able to see, although its shadow looms out from the night and spills into the chamber. You hear a guard scream, "Oh my God, what is..." And everyone begins scrambling, trying to figure out what is going on here. And you see a multitude of tendrils and tentacles moving out from that corner and spreading throughout the rest of the jail cell. At this point, I would like everyone to please go ahead and roll initiative.
Matt, if I may, I don't see where I turn off advantage.
Oh, so if you go to your character sheet here, let me help you with that.
Yeah, I am in there.
Let's go ahead and make it to... Okay, so I believe you have it set to always. Yeah, you have it set to always roll advantage. So we're going to do advantage toggle. I'm going to do whisper toggle. We're going to auto roll damage and crit. So that way, everything's kind of just done for you, and you're able to shift around as you go. If anybody else needs help
Thank you very
modifying
much.
that... Oh, you're very welcome. And make sure to click on your character and then roll your initiative. And if you did not, that's okay. I'll just bonk you with the remembrance stick, and I'll add you manually. So let's take a look here. That's
Yeah.
all set.
There we go. Okay.
I rolled disadvantage, and it didn't like that. So I rolled
Yeah,
again.
It does
And
not. Yes. So we'll go ahead and it doesn't. Unfortunately, disadvantage or with initiative does not properly work. So we'll take the 2 for that, and all of the.
Oh, that's
guards-
really tragic.
That's all of my disadvantage bronze so far.
There you go. Nicely done. You go last, unfortunately, but hey,
I
you know,
assumed.
that's okay. We're all right with that. And let me go ahead and grab the vile beast that you'll be interacting with on this adventure. Once it will actually pull up here for me. Thank you. Alrighty then. Oop, not there. Thank you. There we are. That's what I'm looking for. And it's group 2. Here we go. All right. I keep saying all right, like that's going to make it okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
There we go. Okay. And rolling for its own initiative now, we have the monstrosity rolling in at a whelming 3. So at this point, it seems as though the rest of you are going to have a chance since you heard it coming and you were wary of something. You're not sure exactly what you were wary for, but you were ready for something. Our initiative is going to start with Klax, with Ferric on deck. So your cell being the closest makes the most sense that you heard this approaching and were able to react the quickest. Currently, you can see that the guards are scrambling to try to figure out what is going on here, and you can see that the one nearest to you is futzing with their keys, seeing that this monster has attacked and that there are many individuals, whether they be criminal or not, that are trapped in these cells. It appears as though they're going to start trying to release people. However, they have not made it to you yet. What are you going to do?
I'm going to yell to him, give me the key. I can get everyone unlocked faster than you can. My fingers are faster.
Aye, yes, of course. Just a moment. And he begins fiddling with his keys and is going to make his way over to you when it is his turn.
I'm going to try to reach out with my mage hand and just start unlocking cells for him.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and make a Legerdemain check with your invisible mage hand.
Do you want me to just roll sleight of hand?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. Now, here's the thing. Because you don't have... were you able to sneak any thieves' tools in there with you?
Probably not. I probably wouldn't have
Because
snuck any.
for an inspiration, you could have snuck some thieves' tools in there with you if you'd like.
No, I'll wait.
Okay. All right, so as you reach down, and you're actually going to roll this with disadvantage since you don't have a set of thieves' tools. So go ahead and roll again, and we'll take the worst. As you are picking just like a piece of, oh well, there you go. You pick a hairpin that had just been lying on the ground. And which cell are you starting at? Attempting to release first.
I'm going to start with the tieflings.
Okay.
And then work my way down towards us.
Interesting. Freeing the infernal cultist first. I like that. And
yeah, and there's a thought process there too.
It is. So here's the thing. Despite the fact that you just grabbed a pin that had been on the ground, you are able to actually magically move it over to the cell that the tiefling resides within, and click, and it comes right open.
And
I believe is that your bonus action or your action to do that?
I'm not sure.
If you go to your character sheet, you should be able to check out your Legerdemain ability, and that will tell you. I believe it's at least an action to cast, and then going forward, it may be a bonus action. But I haven't played that character in a while, so I'm not certain.
Yeah. It is an action to cast, so since I wouldn't have had it up, it would be an action and bonus action.
Excellent. So that's your action. Would you like to try to do anything else while you're within your cell?
I'm just going to yell and go, I've let you out. Deal with this problem. And
And
with
unless you
that,
have
I
anything
will
else.
stop.
Okay, perfect. Ferric, you are on deck with Jack on deck.
And the door to our cell is still locked, correct?
It is still locked.
Yes.
Well, I don't think I have anything useful on me, since it would have all been confiscated also, although I do have proficiency in thieves' tools up.
Were you able to sneak any thieves' tools in there with you?
That seems unlikely.
For an inspiration, you could have.
You know what? Sure, I'll burn an inspiration to have
All right.
thieves' tools on me.
Go ahead and burn an inspiration, and I don't know where you're pulling this from, but you do withdraw a pair of thieves' tools with which you are able to attempt to open the locked door before you.
All right. What should I? So yeah, I'm in D&D Beyond. I don't think I can roll those.
And do you have the browser extension?
It doesn't. I don't think I can roll tools.
I see.
Tool
Go ahead and just then at that point, go ahead and just within the Roll20 client, just do \r space and then just add the modifier 1d20 plus and then whatever your modifier is.
Which modifier should I use for?
Would be your you'll be doing dexterity for this, so it should be dexterity plus your proficiency bonus.
Oh, that's not great.
And Braden, I think your chair is crying.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's no problem. I think it's just very worried about the situation is all. Ooh, is that a? Okay, so you rolled a 9 and then you got the bone. Okay, perfect. A 13. A 13 is not well. At this point, it's not going to do it unless you have some way of modifying this roll. You are going to spend at least the bulk of your turn attempting to open this door with no success.
I do have the urban infrastructure feature, and
Ooh.
therefore have basic knowledge of the structure of buildings, including the stuff behind walls.
What I will say is, in this instance, considering you have been working with the city in order to shore up their defenses, and it's likely that you've helped not only the guardhouses, but even possibly the correctional facilities, I'll go ahead and lower the DC for you. And with that, barely with a 13, you will pass. However, you were able to account for the fact that these locks are easy to overcome if you can apply the right kind of pressure. However, despite your success, you were able to apply the correct pressure to open the lock, but you did break one of your lockpicks while doing so. So unless you replace this or get it repaired, it's going to be disadvantaged to use this lockpicking set going forward.
Okay.
But you did open the cell, and after spending your action to open the lock, you are free. What would you like to do?
I will use. Let's see. All the gear and stuff is in the room at the upper right, correct?
That is correct. You did see that they took your armor, the rest of your gear was stashed up in this storeroom here.
All right. In that case, I'm going to move towards that storeroom, which I guess they're opening up anyways, right?
That room
Looks
has
like-
been opened and is ready for you to enter if you'd like. You could push past the guards that are scrambling to grab everyone's belongings and open the doors.
All right. So I'll move up to probably that square. If I can.
Excellent.
Character.
Do you need assistance?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and move you right up to there. That is your movement. You've used your action. Do you have anything else that you'd like or are able to do?
I don't think I have any spellcasting focus on me, so... where are my familiars?
That's a good question. They were not allowing Hootie to join you within your cell, and not knowing what your construct was, they just shoved it back in your bag with the rest of your belongings. Since
The
that's where it
blowfish
came
is
from.
still in the armor. Perhaps
Correct.
Hootie flew out the window and is now outside, behind where the creature broke in?
Yes, when the rest of you had made your way back into this chamber to be processed, Hootie flew back to the position that they were waiting, joining a rather dark as night looking raven. And the two of them are, in fact, planted just outside where this attack had occurred, waiting for any instruction from their masters. Let me go ahead and drop them onto the field so we can see them.
Okay.
Standing on top of the roof, we have both Hootie and Click.
Actually, can I use my bonus action to command the blowfish from the other room anyways?
Yeah,
Just
you
have
can.
it, like, pop out of the
Absolutely.
bag. All right, I'm going to do that.
All right,
Because-
and so you use your bonus action, and the blowfish does pop out from your bag. What would you like it to do?
Move into the room. So it has a flying speed of 30 feet. So move
All
about. Actually, move somewhere where it can maybe get line of sight, like about there.
That's as far as it
And
can move, and
that's
this
as
is a
far
very
as-
hard corner, but it does have a sight line against the creature.
Then it's going to force strike.
All right, go ahead
The
and roll it.
blowfish is.
Now, what does this? What does it look like when your homunculus, the blowfish, makes this attack?
It has a tiny cannon sticking out of its mouth, and so just energy gathers up
Oh,
and spits out at it.
very good. That's exactly what I
Oh,
expected to
man.
happen.
Yeah, and it's just a normal roll, right? Yeah. 13.
A 13. Yeah, unfortunately, this, and both of you are now able to see it. This large creature looks like more akin to a stalagmite or a stalactite. In this regard, it is a stalagmite coming from the ground. It has one large eye in the center of its mass and an enormous gaping maw that opens up near the bottom of its form with long, swirling tendrils and tentacles that sprout out from its form. You believe that if it wasn't for the fact that it was moving around so obviously attempting to grab everything around it, you might not be able to indistinguish it from a normal piece of terrain. However, right now it's very obvious to see, and much like a regular piece of terrain, it's very difficult to hit. And the attack bounces right off its hard carapace. Is there anything else that Theric the Blowfish would like to do? Or even Hootie?
Let's see. Can Hootie can fly in? 15. Hootie has a lot of movement, doesn't he?
That
has
was
a
a
lot of
accident. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. In that case, Hootie is just going to fly straight by and join Ferric up probably around here. He has like 60 feet of movement.
Yes, let's go ahead and take a look here. Oh yeah, easy to do. And with its flyby feature, Hootie is able to fly right past all of the tentacles and everything else nearby. Did you want it somewhere else, or right there is good?
Right there is good.
Okay.
And that's all.
Woo! Woo! And you can see that Hootie is looking between the monster and you, and it's only then that it dawns upon you that earlier, when it was trying to get your attention, this is likely what it was trying to warn you about.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Why don't you learn to speak common already?
Oh! And from there, it is Jack's turn, with the guards following suit. Jackal, what would you like to do while you are trapped within this cell? You can see multiple tendrils gliding along the ground, searching for anything to wrap their tendrils around.
I have visual on this on this person and Ferric, I'm assuming.
That
I
is
can
correct.
I can see this person from
Yes, that is correct.
there. Okay. Why did I choose to have spells? I don't know.
Because you wanted to try something fun. Now shoot something
Okay,
with whatever you got.
Okay. I don't know if this will work. Can I can't do that. I don't have the staff. Never mind. I'm gonna just message. I'm gonna cast a message.
Would you like to have the staff? I'd take an inspiration for you to have been allowed to keep your wizard staff. Merely a walking stick
Yeah,
for
sure.
one like you.
Sure.
Exactly.
I'll keep.
Hartnell
I'll
meant
have
was
the.
walking stick.
I'll keep the staff, the totally normal stick. And I'll use it to cast command on. Command on this guy, and
This
I'm
guard here?
on this guard here,
Okay.
and I'm going to command him to
unlock, like calm down and unlock the things better.
Which area are you direct? Now this is command the spell, so it's a one-word command, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe you're able to say
Okay.
one word and it is able to follow suit with what you're doing.
Okay.
Now I believe with that staff you also have the ability to charm person. Is that right?
I do, but I don't know if the range is good.
You don't
for
have the
that.
range. You don't believe you have the range.
I don't believe so.
Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look from where you are. If you put yourself at the edge of the bars, holding on to trying to squeeze as much distance as possible, 35
Yeah,
feet.
I'm 5 feet out.
You're
That's okay.
just
I'll
out. Oh,
you know what?
unfortunate.
I'll just cast message at this guy, and
Okay.
I'll say in his head, I'll say, can you please let me out? I'm not very helpful behind the bars. I can't really do much here. Also, there's scary noises coming from my left. I don't really want to be here anymore. Thank you.
Oh, who's saying that? Oh, I must be going mad.
It's okay.
Okay, sure. I can help. Absolutely. Positively. Okay. Oh, those are some big tentacles. Oh, goodness. And is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
I'll nah. I'm good. I'll give you some thinking time. It'll be alright.
And as we move on to the guards, I would like to give Raze, I'd like to give you a chance. Did you want to move Click now that you knew that they were outside of that chamber keeping an eye on things?
Nope, he's gonna stay right where he is.
Okay, very good. And we are now at the guards with the giant tentacled monster, ready to rip open anything that is not able to prevent what it's doing here. And much as it had been requested, this guard is going to rush over to you, Jakal, taking out their keys, and they unlock the door. Here, quickly, go! Save us, Magic Man! And from there,
Thank you.
seeing as all three of these doors are open, it's going to get as far away from the monster as it can. It's going to rush back using its action to dash over to this corner and is preparing to open up this door for the prisoner that is here. Dooley is shouting amongst the rest of the guards, you boisterous dogs, get in here! We gotta free the prisoners and stop this monster! Oh my goodness! Iririn, come on! And you can see that he's just dumping sacks full of everyone's stuff into the room. You appear to be, adventurers ripe for the, save us! Come on, quickly! And dumping your gear in the center of the room, it's going to set about releasing, with this guard here, the rest of the prisoners in this area. They rush up, unlock the doors, and are now positioning themselves on the western portion of the chamber. You can hear other guards from the rest of the locations clambering to join you. Those that had either been on break, just enjoying a game of cards, or were manning the front desk. Everybody has a call to arms in order to rush up to the aid of the prisoners that are kept here. And with that, all right. I believe that should be it for everybody. Okay, well, wow. Oh, yeah, and then there's this one guard over here that had been working on processing your paperwork for everyone that had been brought here this evening. And the rubble very nearly crushed them as this creature broke through, and it just stares in abject horror as this monstrosity with this gaping maw appears to be trying to wrap it up, and the guard just shrieks, screams in terror, and has the wherewithal to attempt to dodge this thing as it goes, disengages from combat, runs out the door, out into the night, screaming terrified. If that guard survives the night, they may not have a job when they return to the facility tomorrow. And with that, the monstrous creature, not seeking to run after one terrified individual, the roper moves into the center of the room. Its tentacles reaching out, trying to grasp at every creature nearby. I'm going to go ahead and start rolling some dice now. And though you may not like what happens, just know that I am an impartial third party that is just here to facilitate an enjoyable experience and not seeking to hurt anyone who has been very, very helpful to
I
our
was
channel.
counting on that guard to be more of a distraction.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, he just peaced out.
Yeah.
That's
all
going to
right.
be a tasty snack.
And at this, seeing how many combatants are in this room, the Roper is going to... Oh, actually,
I'm
the
so
Roper
close to the
the
thing.
Roper is very actually slow. I didn't realize that. Yeah, the Roper goes ahead and just moves right here into the doorway and just crawls up to the top of the stairwell here and just positions itself like some kind of looming stalactite. And its tendrils that reap out an impressive distance begin just moving to collect people.
Does it have to squeeze through that hallway?
It is actually squeezing, yes, in order to fit into this small area. And so to the tune of 1, 2, 3, and 4, I would like one of the guards as well as every player here except for Achieve. Oh, actually, wait. I don't think you roll. I roll. This is an attack. Okay, here we go. Not a bite. Ignore that. Whoa, natural 20. Yeah, ignore that. Whoo, that would have been bad. Do we have
That was
this-
2. That was rolled twice. That was 2 in a row.
I think for some reason, yep, this is set to always rolling with advantage. We don't want that. We want advantage toggle and auto roll crits. Okay, well, that was just testing the game here, rolling 2 natural 20s that didn't happen to kill anyone. However, let's see how well this goes. This is going to Ferric. Ferric, what is your armor class without your armor on?
Without my armor and without my cloak of protection, it
Is an 11.
without the shield. Yes, it is an 11.
Okay, well, it reaches a tentacle out, and the tentacle wraps around your form and begins pulling you towards it. Jack, does a 15 hit your armor class?
Oh, it so hits.
A tentacle also wraps around your form and begins dragging you in. Klax, does a 15 hit your armor class?
Yes.
And so down the line we go. And finally, Guard, does a 15 hit your armor class? Why, yes, it does, DM. Oh, well, unfortunately, every single creature that the Roper attempted to grab wraps a tendril around your form and pulls you 25 feet straight towards it. So everyone is pulled just... If you weren't planning to come, you're here now. And I'm going to go ahead, just so we can kind of see how things are going. I'm going to move it over to here as you're being pulled, some of you, into the hallway here. As it's getting you as close to you as possible. And having grabbed 4 of you, it has a pretty good haul. You can tell, rather, those of you that have a passive perception of 13 or higher can tell that it has 6 grasping tentacles with which to attempt to abscond with you. It has now used 4 of them. Seeing that it has been quite successful, it has a monstrous chuff that seems humored by this, as it is likely planning on making its escape with all 4 of you. However, in order to prevent this terrible occurrence from happening, Achieve. Your cell door was unlocked, and you have all of your belongings splayed onto the floor before you. What would you like to do?
Alright. Well, my plan involved getting into melee with it, and that's not going to happen now, is it? So... New plan.
Yeah.
You could attempt to try and somehow squeeze past everyone and get on the other side of the beast, since technically it's looking something about... Oh, there we go. That makes it easy. It's positioned like this. So,
Oh, so if I stood like here.
it would be possible,
We
but
can't do it.
difficult. Yes. Because right now it's squeezing, so you would have advantage on attacking it, but because it's behind 3/4 cover, you would get a -5. So it would almost knock each other out, but you'd have advantage, but it would have a +5 armor class. So see to that how you will.
Can I use a touch spell against one of the tentacles grabbing one of my not friends yet, but grabbing somebody?
So here's the interesting thing. Yes, you can.
Okay, then I'm gonna move right up to here. reach out a hand to the tentacle holding. Is that Jack?
That is Jack, yes.
Yeah. Say, "Be gone, foul violation of the design," and cast a 4th level inflict wounds.
Oh my!
Holy shit.
Well, go ahead and roll, please. Yes, these tendrils appear to be. Oh, wait.
I rolled in D&D Beyond, and it didn't show up, and then I rolled in Roll20, and then it did show up.
Interesting. Well, we'll go ahead and take the first one.
Okay.
That is a hit, and as you reach out to touch it, you realize the tendrils are made of the stony carapace that its body is as well, and normally very difficult to pierce through. However, considering you are rolling with advantage, which actually that worked out perfectly, and this is not behind any sort of cover, you are very easily able to attack it. Now, go ahead and roll damage for the inflict wounds.
It is 45 damage.
Wow. Okay. So here's what occurs. These tendrils, you come to realize, they've got a decent chunk of hit points. And considering the robust power and nature of your attack, as you take hold and grasp the tendril, you're able to wither it away to nothing. And that damage, that filth and decay from the inexorable design rolls up the tendril into the body of the beast, dealing the additional damage that the tendril took onto the main body itself.
Nice.
For a rather large chunk of damage, the entire beast shivers and recoils from this attack, and you are free, Jack.
Hi, Chief.
That is
Thank you. It's nice seeing you again.
And anything else for your turn?
Nope. That's it.
All right. And next up, we are now at the top of the round. And as the rest of you are engaged with this creature, all of you can hear, now that the building has been opened up, off in the distance, you can hear the screams and clamor of citizens likely dealing with an attack by these aberrations from the Murky Vale. It's not just you who's being assaulted, but this is happening across the entirety of the Ironwood City. Klax, you are up. What would you like to do?
Klax to say, "Oh, come on! Why'd you free him? I got you out of the cell," and then try to escape the grapple.
Excellent.
What should I roll for
Well,
that?
this is going to be an action for you to attempt to escape, and you're going to be making either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
Acrobatics is probably better.
Are you satisfied with that roll?
Yes.
All right. And as you are attempting to wiggle free, you realize that you just can't quite get out of it. And unfortunately, it holds tight, and you are still grappled to this creature.
All right. Well, as with my bonus action, I'm going to have my mage hand dig around for a dagger in the gear that's all over the floor and start bringing it to me.
Alrighty, go ahead and I would say that if you're just on your pack, you are able to see from here that it appears that your pack is sitting just off the side of the desk in this room. So if you'd like to try and retrieve your dagger from there, it's within range, so you can go ahead and do so.
Yeah. So I will do that.
Any particular dagger that you are looking for?
Ideally, the one I got my hands on earlier, but any old dagger will do.
Very good. Okay, why don't you go ahead and roll a, let's say, sleight of hand check to see if you're able to grab the item that you are looking for. A natural one. Would you like to let that ride?
Most
there
definitely
anything-
not.
Okay, would you like to use one of your inspirations in order to, let's
I
say,
will-
roll again?
I will absolutely do that.
Excellent.
All right,
Okay.
it's not a natural one.
It's not a natural one, but here's the thing. You are quite deft with your hands, and even with your invisible legerdemain, you are able to reach through, and from your pack, you withdraw a rather sinister-looking dagger. As you bring it to you, the invisible hand that you can control from afar, places within your palm a dagger that looks as though there are two metal snakes with a green tinge and multiple different runes and carvings across them that are intertwined at the top, looking in two different directions as they coil down each other. The metal ending in two what look like dripping fangs at the very end of the metallic and green dagger. And you know this to be the item that you were able to know was called the Fang of Zethius. Zethius, you realize, is one of the infernals that was banished many years ago back down into the underworld when Ramius, the Stern Lord, activated some magical effect that removed all fiends from Anakra's surface. And as you take the dagger in hand, was that a bonus action to activate the mage hand, or was it an action?
To control it, because I summoned it last turn, yeah.
Then I believe you have an action with which to attempt to attack.
I tried to escape the grapple as my action.
That's right! You did try to escape the grapple, unfortunately.
As much as I would love to stab it this turn, the action economy didn't work out that way.
But, that being said, you now have a very powerful dagger with which to attempt to free yourself.
Yes.
At this point, since you don't have any movement, did you want your familiar Click to do anything?
No. Click is going to sit on the rooftop and wait for us to come out of the building.
Okay, very
If
good.
we should make it that far.
Yeah, Click is a little bit dubious as to your chances of survival, but they're waiting here to see how this all plays out, regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add that chat gave our monster disadvantage during this fight, so the next d20 roll the monster makes is going to be at disadvantage.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Farruk with Jackal on deck. What are you going to do, Farruk?
I got a little flustered getting in combat without the armor. Is it too late to take a mulligan on the previous turn? A small, big mulligan?
In order to do what? I'm sorry.
To temporarily increase my AC against the grapple attack that hit me last turn.
I would say if it hadn't have been almost an entire turn of combat, I would have taken it back. But I'm sorry, it's been quite a bit. My apologies.
That's fair. In that case, being grappled by it, Farruk, though most of his power comes from inventions and whatnot, he knows some magic, including magic that doesn't require material components.
Ooh.
So he is going to cast Thunderwave at first level. Which is a DC 16 save against, and he's angling it to just hit the tentacle monster.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that, and this is me kind of doing a little bit of flavor and rule of cool to explain away the fact that I'm ignoring the rules for a second. All of you are trapped within a small little staircase with this thing barely able to contain itself within this range. I am gonna go ahead and deny it its attempt to shrug off this effect, considering you are right on top of it inside of a small hallway. So it does go ahead and suffer the 6 thunder damage.
And gets pushed back and releases all of its grapples.
Is that what it says?
That's Thunderwave pushes back.
Just a moment. I see the pushing back I can understand. The releasing grapples, I don't know about that.
It says
gonna have to if you'll allow it.
Yeah, let me take a look here. A wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you, and each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from you must make a con save. Oh, it's a con save. Oh, I thought it was a dex save. Okay, well, I said what I said. On a failed save, it takes the damage, okay, and is pushed 10 feet from you. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage and is not pushed. In addition, unsecured objects that are completely within the area are automatically pushed 10 feet away. And it emits, yeah, no, my guy, I'm going to say that, yes, I did say that it got pushed with it. Huh?
Yeah, but on the description for grappled, it says the condition also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or grappling effect.
Which
it's got
would
a
be,
huge reach.
yeah, I would say it would be the case if it wasn't for the fact that its tendrils can reach across the room.
Oh.
So, which direction? I would assume you're aiming your thunder this way, so you don't hit your party this way, right?
Yeah, I was aiming that way. And that I thought it was going to cause it to like stagger and release the grapple.
Would you like? Okay, now I will allow you a mulligan on that, considering you thought it said that. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you a mulligan on that then. So I'm gonna give it its hit points back. Let's and as you think, your mind calculating quicker than you can act, you consider what would happen if you were to blow this creature with the force of your impressive magic, and you realize, wait a minute, these tendrils are far too long. There's no way that. Oh no, that's a terrible idea. I won't do that. Yeah. And what would you like to do instead?
And
just a reminder, Jack, you are on deck.
How far out the hole in the wall can I see?
From where you are here, quite a ways. What is that? You mostly are just seeing a building that's just a few feet away from the actual facility itself. But what are you looking for?
Right. 20 feet now. Oh, and the reach on the tentacles was like more than 20 feet.
Yeah, from what you could tell, it's difficult to ascertain, but it was able to grasp someone at least 30 feet away from it.
It doesn't have any like metal body parts, does it?
No metal. It is an entirely organic, but it simulates earthen materials.
Okay. In that case, I will, flailing around my arms, grabbing a chunk of rock off the wall to use as a spell focus or material component. I will cast Shatter.
Perfect.
Again, that only hits the.
Yes, I understand. You're angling it perfectly. Okay. And considering you're going to be filling this entire room up, catching the effect in it, it's going to be exploding just about everything in this room, including all of Klax's stuff.
That was in
Yes. So please go ahead and roll the damage for your Shatter spell, which is going to be destroying just about everything in that room that isn't magical or extreme. Oh wow, 22 thunder damage. I hope you weren't attached to a lot of what was in your pack, Rays.
Not in particular. I got the one thing I was attached to out of there, so I can just poke Ferric for some replacements later.
Yeah, no, that tracks. Ooh, okay, an 18. Oh wait, with disadvantage. Hold on a moment. It has disadvantage on its. Oh yeah, that'll do it. We've now expunged the disadvantage, and it did fail its save, getting shattered by the great magical spell as this loud crack sounds within the room, reverberating off the walls and impacting into this creature.
I don't think it expunges a disadvantage. It just has this. It says a creature made of inorganic material such as stone, crystal, or metal. So is it actually made of stone, or does it just look like it?
It's not actually made of stone. It just looks like it. However, that's a good point. It was squeezing, which by squeezing, it does have disadvantage on this in the first place. So it'll go ahead and keep its disadvantage for any further actions. And yes, it does go ahead and it fails this check, taking a whopping 22 points of thunder damage. And this creature is now bloodied. You can see that it is beginning to leak a very vile looking ichor, and it looks like it wants to just take what it has and leave.
Okay. And with my bonus action, so it hasn't like made any attempts to damage us.
Not as of yet. No.
It's just trying to walk out right now.
That's what it seemed like, yes. Normally, you get the idea that this creature is used to grabbing organics that don't put up as much of a fight, and it can just grab it and go, you know?
Yeah. In that case, I'm going to have the blowfish make another attack on it, and I'm going to have Hootie help the blowfish.
Excellent. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of creatures between you and it. So there is going to be quite a bit of cover. However, you're going to have advantage on this. The creature has disadvantage, so that's going to counter each other out. So that's going to be... Or rather, so you're going to keep your advantage, but it is going to get a cover bonus. So its AC is going to increase for this.
Okay.
So go ahead and make the attack with advantage.
Dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, that's just not going to do it. With the cover, you end up having the blowfish shoot and trying to avoid hitting the rest of your party. And even though it's not indistinguishable from the stone around it. Your blowfish is picking the best trajected path for your arcane energy, and unfortunately it goes wide and doesn't quite hit the mark.
All right. Well, I think that's all I can do on my turn.
Next up, we have Jackal with the guards on deck. Now, again, just to repeat, not only are you grappled, but each one of you is restrained by this creature. So not only can you not move, but you have disadvantage on any attack rolls that you are making. It has
I did
advantage
get
on any attack rolls against you.
Achieve did release me though. Jack.
That's right.
I'm
You are released. Yes.
Okay. In that case, Jackal's like normal timid demeanor. He changes. He grabs his staff, which you can see now has a bunch of names carved all over the sides of it. Many different names. And he says, and he'll using the staff, he'll go cast command, and he'll say release, and that's what he does.
Okay.
That's what he does.
What is the saving throw on this command spell? I believe it's wisdom, right?
Yes, it is wisdom. Sorry, I didn't have it up at the
That's
moment.
okay. I don't believe an 11 is going to succeed on this.
Let me double check though, just so I know I'm not cheating. Command submit. That's what.
So if you go to your character sheet, click spell, the tab to spell on
Yeah.
the right-hand side, and then up in the top middle, you'll see what your attack bonus
Oh,
and
my
your spell save DC is.
Yeah, my spell save is 17.
Well, there you go. Yeah. And 11 is just not going to cut it. And you can see that the creature just locks up. And against its better nature, all of you begin to feel the tendrils start to release. And on the creature's turn, it will be able to acquiesce with your request.
And as a bonus action, I'll turn towards Achieve and I'll say, I don't believe that creature is a part of the design. I would advise you expunge it, and that would be, you have one bardic inspiration now.
Oh, excellent.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and
Which
just
I
pop one of
think
these
is a
on you.
I think is a D10 for me. I believe. I
Wow.
could be wrong.
Well,
but-
go ahead and confirm that. And is there anything else you'd like to do for your turn? You can attempt to move if you'd like.
If I move away, I'd be getting an opportunity from
very
it.
likely.
Not. I'll stay where I am.
Alrighty
Yeah,
then.
I'll stay where I am.
We have the guards up with the roper itself on deck. And at this point, the guards finish freeing the creatures that are in their cells, and all of the creatures begin just rushing out of the room. There's a pile up as the guards that are making their way into the room are trying to push their way past all of these people who are attempting to rush out of here. Dooley is able to bring their weapon to bear, taking out their shield and warhammer. They see this creature. Oh, actually, there's a lot of people packed in there. You see that gleaming warhammer to its side, but instead, Dooley reaches for one of the javelins that is on their back. And they enter a rage. Ah! For the forge! And it rushes forward, and Dooley throws a javelin at the roper, holding you all together. And I would like for them to not have all these toggles. Give me just a moment here. There we go. All right, and with its javelin, consider this creature is behind cover, but still squishing in. It's going to go ahead and roll this with advantage. And he rolls a natural 20.
Nice.
Wow. And with his rage bonus, that's going to be an additional 3 points of damage on top of that. So that's going to be 15 points of damage as this javelin hits its mark and drives itself deep within the creature. You adventurers, get yourselves out of there. There's more coming for us. And the rest of the guards begin pushing past the various creatures that are here and taking up position. They guard the flank. Those that are able to attack bring their crossbows to bear. And Irian takes out a longbow. And they all just unleash a volley upon this creature. With their crossbows at the ready, Okay, they have crossbows. It's going to say spear here, but it means crossbow. Just going to put that out there. Ignore what it says.
Spear is Elvish for crossbow.
Exactly.
Fear of the mind.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and, considering it is in a bad way, all locked up in that chamber. That was a bad move on its part. We're going to have 2 spears that are thrown, and unfortunately, they go wide from the regular guards, even with their advantage. And then Irian, taking out their longbow, is going to go ahead and let loose a volley of arrows themselves. And I'll need to fix every one of these character sheets, as they all have advantage always on. You would like that, wouldn't you, to have advantage always on? I know I would. All right. And with this, we're going to get a shot from their longbow. And that is unfortunately going to miss, considering all of the cover. How unfortunate. This creature, though, lots of... it's in a very precarious position. It's hard and carapace and all the creatures surrounding it, making it very difficult to land an actual blow on. And with that, the guard's volley having been spent, it is the Roper's turn, with Achieve on deck. Looking at its options, realizing it is in a very dire situation, this slow-moving but incredibly powerful creature decides to use its action to drop everything around it, since Jakal ended up convincing it through the power of its magic that it did not want to grasp upon these creatures any longer. And everyone who was grappled by a tendril or tentacle is released. As the creature spins its action doing that, it has merely a movement remaining, and realizing the precarious position it is in, it is going to attempt to just get to the top of this area, and it's going to try and turn into a stalactite and hope that everything here just forgets about it. It moves into the corner of the room, its tendrils withdrawing into its body, and its form shifts and turns, and just up on the side of this chamber that had been just destroyed by a shatter spell, you see a stalactite just hanging from the top of the room.
Oh no,
And,
it disappeared. Whatever will we do?
If you don't have object permanence, you're in a bad way right now, because the creature just disappeared. Achieve, it is your turn.
Let's see, 15. I'm going to go up here and search through the step for my spell focus and components. Search the bags. Attempt to find my items.
And with
Spell
that,
focus, quick bonus.
you are able to move up to the initial bag, and you can see that within there is a very compact metallic form, as there is what looks like accordion armor within this satchel, as well as a collection of other reagents and mechanical devices, a cloak, a shield. These appear to be Ferux's items.
Okay. Was that an action or a bonus action? Or...
No, it's a free object
Okay.
interaction to do that.
Can I look in this one then?
That'll be your bonus action. And by the way, just so you all know, I have these names. You can't see the names, but I have them all named to see whose stuff is who. And as you open that bag, Jackal, what is within your satchel?
Well, I have the staff, so there is a drum that has looks like just a regular drum, very like a handheld drum, and there is a tiny rock that is very small, but it's a very tiny rock that's carved, and that is literally it. that is all. Oh, and a leather, and there is a leather armor, a very basic leather.
Oh, okay. Oh, they wouldn't have
That is
taken your
all
leather
that's
armor
there.
off, my guy.
Oh, okay. Well then,
Yeah, if it's like metal
then it's
armor, they're
just-
taking
then
that
it's
off.
just-
If it's leather
it's the
armor,
drum-
yeah, like
it's
it
a
just
drum
looks
and a
like
rock.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a drum and a rock. That's it.
Okay, well, there you go. And there's only one more bag in this room, so you could assume that's
Yeah.
very likely yours.
Forget that. I'm gonna move down here. Can I see the stalactite from here?
No, this is a very hard corner. You would have to make sure that you are either able to squeeze into this staircase or you'd have to move directly into the chamber.
Oh.
Now
In that case,
you can move into the chamber without any penalty. It's just then you're going to be in the chamber with this thing.
I don't have enough movement to get that far. So in that case, I'm just gonna grab my stuff.
Okay. And as you make your way, you move up into the farther portion of the chamber. You grab your bag, and within is all your gear. And you spend the rest of your turn just outfitting yourself with the rest of your belongings.
Yeah, I have my stuff back.
All right. Top of the round, Klax. You are up with Ferric on deck. You have now
Quite
been
a
released. And for some reason, the creature has now disappeared, and in its place, you see a stalactite hanging from the top of that room that had just been shattered.
Oh no, where did it go? With his dagger in one hand, Klax is going to tell Click to get on the other side of the stalactite. And then Klax is going to walk up here and just stab it. He wants retribution.
You make your way into the room with your familiar, your large and very dark raven floats into the room and just glides right into place. As you're bringing your attack to bear, it pokes at the stalactite from the other side and giving you the clearance you need. You're able to roll with advantage as you are flanking the creature. And with a 23, that will do it. You pierce the creature's armor, and it's going to need to make a successful save against the poison as your dagger just reacts. You can feel it pulsing within your grip, pumping venom into the creature. Who saves? Taking no poison damage. It's able to shrug off the 6 poison damage it would have suffered. However, you did hit it not just with your piercing damage, but you were flanking, so you got sneak attack. If you want to go ahead and add your sneak attack damage to this. Wow, 12 points of sneak attack damage. So that'll be 18 points of damage as you strike into the creature's hide, digging your magical dagger in deep. Klax, I'd like to ask you a quick question.
Yes,
Would you like to use your reaction to finish the creature?
absolutely.
Then I'd like you to go ahead and use our home rule, finish him, in order to describe to me how you're going to dispatch this beast that dared break in here and capture the denizens that you have so keenly attempted to protect.
So as Click flies in, a tendril reaches out to try and snap at it. And with that little opening, Klax will sneak the dagger in under its armor and just run it up its body.
And as you drag the accursed dagger across the form of the stalactite, it shudders, convulses, and falls from the top of the ceiling down onto the floor. There's no pretense as to what this creature was. This horrible abomination lies before you, squirming, dripping dark ichor. This room has been utterly destroyed, and it is now ruined with the disgusting slop that this creature is expelling as it crumbles and falls before you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break for the evening. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly, and thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be right back.